enough water to fight fires, to reliably flush toilets, and to meet other critical needs.
My name is Dr. Jen. It's great to see you guys.
Hello everyone, I'm your host as always, Kendra Diggs here, and welcome to Vow as we talk about the recent Mississippi mass floodings. Yes, Mississippi with the water floodings, a lot of stuff going on, but we'll get to that in a minute. But first thing first, join in the conversation using the hashtag Vow here on Connect, and don't forget to subscribe. Subscribe is caring. Tell a friend, call a friend, hit that subscribe button so you won't miss a thing here on Vow on this program right now. We will talk about the recent Mississippi water flooding where citizens can't use water to drink, to wash up, or do productive stuff with the water after the water has been contaminated and the state of Mississippi has deemed it not drinkable and infectious. It's kind of heartbreaking to see that, man, but we'll get to it. Like I said, join in the conversation right now. Use the hashtag Viral here on Connect. And don't forget to subscribe. Subscribing is caring. Tell a friend, call a friend, hit that subscribe button so you won't miss a thing here on Viral as we talk about the Mississippi water flooding. Yes, it's been a mass water flood. As you can see right here, all these water floods. You can't go nowhere. The rise of the water is going up. And a lot of people in Mississippi are feeling the heartbreak and feeling the suffering after their water levels, after the rain came in and drenched Mississippi down with water. Now the state of Mississippi has to now focus and try to repair some of the water levels down there to help get everybody back on his feet. And that. All right, we know that the levels are not good, but let's see the latest on what's going on in the state of Mississippi with this news highlight provided by us by ABC News.
In Mississippi are being told to expect little or no water for an undetermined amount of time. Shoppers raced to this Walmart for bottled water last night, only to find empty shelves. All Jackson public schools are switching to virtual learning indefinitely, and the lieutenant governor says, our understanding is the water and sewer system serving 250,000 citizens of the state and numerous businesses is at the brink of collapsing.
It means the city cannot produce enough water to fight fires, to reliably flush toilets.
In some parts of the city, the fire department is finding no water in fire hydrants.
All of our units have 500 gallons of water on it, and the guys can use that water to sustain a lot of incidents with just that.
The warnings come after a pump at the city's troubled water treatment facility was damaged. The governor says he was told last week that a failure was possible.
It was a near certainty that Jackson would fail to produce running water sometime in the next several weeks or months. Unfortunately, that failure appears to have begun today.
Jackson residents have been under boil water notices since last month when water samples found harmful contaminant levels. The mayor blames issues at the city's water and sewage plants on staffing shortages and decades of deferred maintenance. And now, flooding from the Pearl River is making the problem even worse.
And because of the river water that is coming into the plant, we have to change the way we treat the water, which consequently reduces the tank levels.
As you saw right there, the water levels and stuff is heartbreaking to see. It's devastating to see that people can't use water to drink, wash up, or use it for productive stuff, such as cleaning their car or watering their garden. It's sad to see that, and it's sad to hear about that. Hopefully, the people in Mississippi get back on their feet, and the government could come in and step in and help with aid and get Mississippians back on their feet for that. All right. Even the governor of Mississippi spoke about the recent status of what's going on. Let's hear what the governor of Mississippi had to say.
It means the city cannot produce enough water to fight fires, to reliably flush toilets.
The governor of Mississippi had a lot to say. he broke it down that he pledged his citizens not to drink that water, not to get sick, and not to feel, the effects, and hopefully the health effects and stuff. Hopefully Mississippians and the government will step in, especially the government that help in and try to alleviate that problem for them in the coming weeks. All right, let's hear what you people had to say about the recent Mississippi floodings, water floodings indeed. Let's hear what you people had to say on what the people say here on Vow.
Black, and it's becoming pretty clear now that floods may have triggered this water crisis, but advocates like our next guest say it's environmental racism that's making it worse. Mustafa Santiago is Executive Vice President of the National Wildlife Federation. He's also the founder and CEO of Revitalization Strategies, working as a strategist and policymaker for environmental justice. Good to see you, Dr. Ali.
Thank you for having me, Karis. Nice to be with you.
Well, you have worked with more than 500 domestic and international communities. What do you make of what's going on right now in Jackson, Mississippi?
Well, it's a tragedy that's happening. This emergency that's going on that did not have to happen. We've known about the impacts that were happening to the water infrastructure in Jackson, and there has been inaction by so many, especially those in the State House and others who have refused to make the investments that are necessary to protect people's lives. We have to be very careful in this moment. We don't want to make Jackson a sacrifice zone. Jackson's motto is, Jackson is a city with soul. The question becomes, are we going to protect those souls, those 80% African Americans who are living there, along with the other brothers and sisters who are there? Are we going to be willing to make the investments? Are we going to be able to actually come together to make real change happen? We know the history throughout the South in relationship to the disinvestment in Black communities historically. We don't have to hold on to the sins of the past. We can actually move forward and make sure that we are doing the things that are necessary to protect people's health, to also make sure that we are helping to strengthen their economic situation, and to get ready to deal with the climate crisis that we see each and every day now.
Today's announcement by Micron
From Jackson. So the damage, Trevor, at that water treatment facility, it's leaving this city in such a vulnerable state. What's the latest? What have people been telling you as they're just trying to find a bottle?
Right, yeah. So, Kira, you can tell all these people are lined up here. We're at a water distribution site at a smaller airport here in Jackson. I mean, all these people are lined up an hour before they're going to start giving water away. I mean, we're talking about dozens after dozens after dozens of cars, because already Jackson was under that boil water advisory. This isn't a new problem where they weren't allowed to drink the water, but this is a much larger issue here, to the point where a lot of these people that I'm talking to in line say they can't flush their toilets. They say that they can't bathe, they can't cook, they can't do anything. And so they're desperately hoping. They're saying they might get a case of water. They're hoping to get more than that, but even that, they're not sure how long it's going to last, because now this water problem here in Jackson goes back years from the failing infrastructure. And I will say, we're seeing a lot of pretty large-scale efforts to try to get them the water that they can here. They're working to bring in as many cases of bottled water as they can, but this is short notice here, and suddenly now you have 180,000 people or more who need bottled water here, and you have to bring it in as quickly as possible. So that alone is a difficult challenge here too. And then you have people who are just trying to get by. So what you have is, in Jackson, people who are repeatedly frustrated that they're not getting answers, people who are doubting that this is ever going to be fixed, and also just trying to get through the day-to-day where they might not be able to bathe or flush the toilet in their own homes, Kira.
We are talking about Wendy Williams today. Yesterday, we saw you alongside that massive line of cars waiting to receive packs of bottled water. What are supplies like today? How's it going there where you are now? And, do crews have enough to keep distributing to all the residents?
Well, Kira, it's very similar to what we saw. I will say that definitely with that extra added day, we're starting to see a lot of these agencies that have more water to give away, but the demand has not shrunk at all here. So look at the line. All these people are receiving this free bottled water. We're in the parking lot of a Walmart here, and this line snakes through the entirety of it. It wraps around several times just to make its way through. And here's the thing. They've been giving away water here for hours. So if you look over to the right, You see this giant truck that we're showing you here? This is the second one that they brought in today. They had one earlier that was filled with 19 pallets of bottled water. They gave the whole thing away. All the people waited in line for another hour, and this is the second truck that is continuing here. Now, this is organized by the Salvation Army. I've got Major Ethan Frizzell, the Public Information Officer, with us. Ethan, thank you. Appreciate your time. This is an enormous effort. What did it take to put this together, and how are you feeling just watching it?
Thankfully, there are those who support the Salvation Army that allow us to regularly be ready for disasters. With this event, we were able to use water that we had on hand and call in more water from the region so that we have one truckload of water coming in every day until the city and the state are able to meet the needs of our community.
And this is the second truck for today, just for this giveaway, right?
It is the second truck, and we have word that we may be able to get one or two more trucks in today. As you've seen, the line is just too long.
Right.
People are nervous and they're hurting for water, and so we want to meet them with compassion and commitment that we will get through this together.
You got any idea how many bottles of water this is?
We have one organization, Fastenal, is sending us 36,000 bottles, right? So it's just a massive amount of water. But the real hardship is our families that are having to take that home and live out of bottles.
Right.
And so we're so thankful for those who provide water for us, but also those who partner with us to help the water get to the community.
Right. Of course, living off of it is more than drinking it. It's brushing your teeth. It's bathing, everything like that. I know that your organization is treating this like it is a disaster, right? So the equivalent of a hurricane or something like that, that's that level of catastrophe, basically?
Absolutely. So when you look at the city of Jackson, a population of roughly 100,000, and you have lines like this, that's a lot of people and a lot of water that's needed. The Salvation Army is working with other organizations we know that are giving out water as well, but it's really just making sure that people have security with basic human needs as we would in a disaster.
I mean, when you talk to these people, like they are desperate for this water. I know that you know that. Are you confident that your agency can keep this up when the officials are saying they don't know how long it's going to be necessary?
Absolutely not. One of the things that we're very sure of is that when it comes to a disaster without a timeline is not to speak in confidence of, because we don't know when it ends, right? We're hoping, and we know that the community is bringing in more truckloads of water. We're hoping that the city water works.
Yes.
But whereas the city's been under boil water advisory, we will serve all the resources that are received. But unfortunately, this need is great and may continue for a period.
All right, and it's a massive effort, but it certainly is a massive demand. Ethan Frizzell, we really appreciate your time. And Kira, I know that you've seen all of these vehicles one after another. It seems as quickly as one comes up and receives these free bottles, another one gets in the back of the line here, and we've easily got hundreds more that are snaking through. So this is, it is a monumental effort. It is massive teamwork. It's a city that is banding together, but certainly it is a city in need, Kira.
Remember the white male who
Mississippi are into their fourth straight day with little or no water flowing through their pipes. The city's treatment facility failed this week when it was breached by floodwaters. A state of emergency is in effect with schools, restaurants, other businesses forced to shut down. CBC's Kyle Bax is watching developments live from Washington. Now, we are talking about 180,000 people in the state capital, Kyle. How are they coping?
Well, Suhana, just imagine being told you have to shower with your mouth closed. Now you can sympathize with the people of Jackson. They can't use the water to drink, cook, or wash dishes. 4 days of turning on the taps and brown water comes out, or it's just a small trickle of water, or nothing at all. It's inconsistent, forcing schools and universities to go remote and businesses to close, especially bars and restaurants. The city has had problems with the water supply for several years. In fact, Jackson was under a boil water notice since July. Now it's in crisis mode after record-setting rainfall this week created flooding problems, which pushed its hobbled treatment plant to failure. Residents are growing pretty frustrated.
What are they doing with our tax dollars? You gotta pay a water bill, but you can't use the water. That don't make no sense. I got $100 water bill I just paid, and I can't use the water.
A rental pump was installed yesterday, which is helping the situation a little bit. Critical repairs to the treatment plant still have to happen. Authorities aren't giving many reasons for residents to be optimistic about the current situation or the reliability of the water system moving forward. Officials are hopeful water can be restored this week, but admit it's a tough mountain to climb. Here in Washington, President Joe Biden has approved an emergency declaration to hand out. Local authorities say it allows Mississippi to tap into critical resources to help respond to this crisis.
Talk again, Kyle. That's CBC's Kyle Bax in Washington.
Here in Forest, Mississippi this morning, I'm in about knee-deep floodwater. This is Highway 80. The water is flowing down Highway 80 like a river. See, one caller already stalled out here in this gas station. There are police officers warning people about the high water in this intersection, the main intersection coming into town. When you're coming off of I-20, heading towards downtown, this is what you come and see. Right at this intersection, you can see the cars still going through it. And this water has a current. Like I said, it's flowing towards the east, just like a river. And you can feel it pushing against the waders. It's a very significant current. A good idea to take a look at that. You can see how fast it is flowing. Now, there has been a lot of rain over an extended period of time that's causing this chaos. Overnight and early this morning, the rainfall rates began to increase as well. So you had 1 inch per hour, 2 inch per hour, and that's when you have flash flooding like this. And the ground is so saturated, the tributaries, the small streams and rivers are starting to swell, and you're going to get more and more problems like this throughout here in Mississippi, the I-20 corridor. I'm going to keep monitoring this in Forest, Mississippi. I'm Jonathan Petramala.
In March, and now we're flooded out. So
now you mentioned you literally just moved in here 2 months ago.
Yes.
Yes, we did. It's like he said, our house burned March the 1st, and we lost everything. So we bought this house, and now it's flooded. But we'll get through that too.
Dave, you're rightfully getting emotional. This has got to be very hard for you and your bride. This has got to be so tough.
It is. It really is, because like I said, we were just trying to heal from losing everything. And our house of 34 years that where we lived, and then this. But
it was 2 feet deep here an hour ago.
Easily. Oh, yes. The neighbor across the street has lived here since 1989, and when she got home just a few minutes ago, they've never, since 1989, seen the water rise like this.
Dave, have you given any thought? I mean, you just went through catastrophe in your previous home. Now this. What do you do? I don't know. You're keeping your sense of humor.
Well,
good, but
my daddy got up at midnight several years ago, and when he got up to go to the bathroom, his house had flooded. He was in 4 feet of water.
So he said if his daddy could go through it, we could endure it.
We endure it.
His daddy was 32 years old.
A lot of you people had a lot to say about it, and you people shared compassion about it, and hopefully there is hope for the citizens of Mississippi to drink clean, sustainable water rather than not clean, contaminated water. We hope that that doesn't be the case, and hopefully something gets done by it sooner rather than later. It's a crisis. It's a public crisis, and hopefully the state of Mississippi and the U.S. government step in to help out as much as they can. Thank you for watching this edition of Vibes. We talk about the recent Mississippi mass flooding, and hopefully the citizens get the help that they need. I've been your host, Kendra Dix, saying so long, and thank you for watching this special edition of Vibes.